Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, Malaysia, Madani, and we are here today because we are going to talk about English for internationalization and educators' perspective. So we have already assembled 5 amazing ladies from all level of education. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kita akan membincangkan kepentingan English sebagai bahasa antarabangsa. So, ladies and gentlemen, we always know that English is an international language. And English is going to be there forever. So therefore, as Malaysians, we have to keep ourselves abreast with English language education in the country so that when we go out there in the world, all Malaysians, anak-anak Malaysia ialah anak-anak yang disegani kerana tahap bahasa Inggeris kita tahap yang paling digeruni. So ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, we have the first panelist here, Dr. Chiu Shinyi from So Dr. Chiu, what are your thoughts about how we internationalized English to the level that all our Malaysian students will be up there on the stage of the world?
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Aslam, for introducing me, and selamat petang kepada semua. A very good afternoon to everyone who's present here today. Okay. I have a task today, which is to answer Dr. Aslam's question about the role of English as an international language. Macam mana anak-anak kita boleh, okay, sampai ke tahap, okay, yang kita inginkan. Alright. Now, before we go to that question, which is very hard to answer, okay, let's look at the role of English in Malaysia. Okay, I'll be sharing this from the perspective of a Malaysian researcher as well as an educator who is blessed to have taught students from preschool up to tertiary level. I really enjoyed teaching and knowing more about English. Okay, kenapa kita perlu belajar English? Okay, what's the status of it in Malaysia? So it is the official second language in Malaysia. Every Malaysian will need to learn it at school since they are 7 years old. Okay, so English is also widely used for diplomacy, for business, science, technology, and many others. In other words, English is around us here in Malaysia. Malaysians also use English as a lingua franca. It's the language we use to communicate with people from all over the world. Okay, that's really important for our Malaysians' social mobility and for our Malaysia's economy. Right, so, and this language functions well so far, okay, because it's spoken by a lot of people. Okay, that's approximately 2.3 billion people. Okay, and even in the internet or the virtual world, more than 60% of the content is in English. So it's important. Okay, and with the role of English as a global language, does this mean that we have to abide to one standard, which is the native speaker standard? In the past, the use of English is based on the model by the Matsaleh. Okay, we do have Matsalehes here. Okay, but now, okay, if we look at the population, there are actually more people who use English as an additional language than people who use English as the first language. So I'm not denying that we shouldn't have the standard, but we should be more aware. Anak-anak kita, okay, we need to be more mindful, be more aware of how we are communicating, who we are communicating with, okay, the features of the English that we are using. Okay, the medium we are using, the purpose, apa tujuan, what's the message, that we are intending, what's the purpose of our message, and also the context. So we need to be mindful of the context. Okay, so now if we look at the features of English used in Malaysia, okay, if we are aware of our features, for example, the lack of vowel contrast in words like cut and cart. So sometimes we might produce these two words the same, like homonyms, cut, cut. Okay, so it's okay if we are with fellow Malaysians, perhaps we could understand the context and we get the meaning. But if we are using English as an international language, we may want to make ourselves clearer by producing the pre-vocalic word sound like cart. Okay, although Malaysians are non-rhotic, we don't produce the r sounds in words, but in these kind of cases, it will be useful for us to be aware and try to make ourselves intelligible or clearer to other people that we are communicating with. So it matters, okay, to who we are communicating with. If we have Australians here, perhaps then we will say good day, okay? But today I'm starting with selamat petang. So we need to know who we are speaking with in the international context. And then the medium we are using. So now we are not limited to face-to-face or physical setting. Yeah, we can have our conversation in online space. Okay, in the internet, which platform are we using? Is it just text-based, or do we have the affordances of videos, mics? Okay, so we need to be mindful. We need to be more critical of what are the tools that we have. Okay, what are the tools we have, how we are utilizing it, and also be aware of the language used. For example, in computer-mediated communication, sometimes we use a lot of abbreviations like IDK. IDK, what does it stand for? I don't know, IDK, LOL, these are very normal. And we also have special features like a lot of punctuation marks. It can go up to 3 to 4 lines. We can also have stickers, avatars. So things are developing, and we also need to be aware of how these changes are going on. So when we are aware of the use of language in different medium, when we talk to different people in different contexts, that will help us to guide our students, to be more prepared to face the world. And that will be a good use of English language. I hope that answers your question.
So thank you very much, Dr. Chiu. Yes, English as a global language. So whatever Dr. Chiu has mentioned is the use of English. Bagaimana bahasa Inggris digunakan dari segi communication, business, science, and academia. So whether you like it or not, English should be taught in the way of how English is to be used. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, kami ni semua anak Malaysia, BM kita semua A masa sekolah, SPM, tapi English juga tahap yang tertinggi. Why? Ini sebabnya. Sebabnya ialah komunikasi, perniagaan, sains, teknologi dan akademia memerlukan bahasa Inggeris. Gunakan bahasa Inggeris dengan paling tepat dalam konteks yang diperlukan. Okay? So now kita move on to how English language is seen in the classroom setting. Dalam classroom, dalam bilik belajar. How? So now I'd like to invite Miss Natasha Doralanis to share with us about English in the classroom dynamics.
How many minutes? Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. So to answer a question asked by Dr. Aslam, how do we internalize English in classroom? First of all, we have to, as an educator, you have to know what is the meaning of diversity. So diversity, we don't only focus on cultural differences, but we also focus on learning styles, learning abilities, and also social backgrounds. As you know, in Malaysia, especially in Sabah, Sarawak, so we have multicultural diversities, and also in Semenanjung, Malaysia. So as an educator, we have to analyze the diversity in learning abilities, the cultural backgrounds, because this information will help educator on how to tackle issues that will arise in classroom, especially to teach English. Because as we all know that generally Bahasa Melayu is our first language, but for those like in Sabah and Sarawak, Bahasa Melayu is not our first language. We have like Bahasa Iban, Bahasa Bidayu, and so on. So Malay language is considered as our second language, and then English will be our third language. So with that, you can see the degree of difficulties to learn and also to teach. There will be challenges in classroom. Okay, so that's the first one. To know what is the meaning of diversity. And then you, as an educator, we have to take the second step, which is to acknowledge and to embrace the diversity. Alright? So this is actually the prominent step. It's the paramount in creating an inclusive and exclusive space so that we as educators, we can bring outside world to classroom. Therefore, you can internalize English specifically. Alright, after that, the third one is to recognize our students' unique strengths and weaknesses, and also don't forget, as educators, there will always be challenges, okay, in terms of especially on internet, yes, because now it's like everything is on the media, okay, we have YouTube, we have artificial intelligence, but let's not forget, our children in school, they might not know what AI is, especially in rural areas. So we as educators, we have to bring the outside world to the classroom. Okay. And then one more thing I would like to emphasize that educators should be allowed to tailor their teaching and accommodate methods in order to internalize English, so that English becomes part of our students' identity. Alright? So how educators can make sure that we play our important part to internalize English. Okay, so I would like to highlight on two aspects. Okay, the first one is differentiated instruction or differentiated learning. So from the first point that I talked about just now, whereby I touch on part diversities of learning abilities, background. So educators must know how to accommodate learning abilities, the challenges, so that we can cater the students' needs according to the abilities. Okay, that's the first part. And then two, cultural competence, cultural diversities. We have to try to inculcate or we take the diversities of cultural into our lesson planning activities, so that as we know that we have our main textbook in classroom, right? So mainly the textbooks, they are usually they take from European like CAFR. So as an educator, we have to try and to be creative to bring our students' culture and then integrate it into our syllabus. Okay, so that's all from me. That's what I would like to highlight, the educator's perspective into this topic today. How do we internalize English so that it becomes our students' identity? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Natasha. Now you can see that everything begins in the classroom. Segala-galanya bermula dari kelas. So what Ms. Natasha has mentioned is that when you send your children to school, don't worry. Ibu bapa jangan bimbang. Hantar anak ke sekolah. Guru-guru bahasa Inggeris di Malaysia memang telah dilatih untuk membawa tahap pendidikan bahasa Inggeris ke tahap antarabangsa, tahap globalization. So thank you. That is classroom perspective. But we have to remember, we are now keeping abreast with the latest development in English language education. Kita sentiasa meletakkan sistem pendidikan ke tahap yang paling tinggi. Sekarang kita masukkan dunia alam teknologi. So, technology is very crucial in English language education and in internationalization of English. So, in Malaysia, so I would like to invite Ms. Shi Yunling, someone who is involved greatly in teaching with students, with teachers about technology. Over to you, Ms. Shi.
Thank you, Dr. Aslam. I'm Shi from SJKC New Kobisan. I'm also an educancer from MOE, appointed by MOE. So, why Dr. Aslam asked me about this integrations of technology in the classroom? Because I am a trainer of so many apps. I am a trainer of Passport AI and then Super Quizzes trainers. Also, I am a Magic School Current AI Educators Award finalist. So, when I have all these awards and certification, it is not about the collector of certification, but I am really into it and I use it, apply it in my classroom. So when I see that AI, artificial intelligence, is a trend right now, technology make an impact in our classroom, especially I'm teaching English. Let's say I give you an examples of how I'm using AI in my classroom. Because metaverse, we have this AI, we have AR, IR, we have extended reality, and so much more. So, when I want to teach a lessons called 4 Seasons in my classroom, I want to bring this 4 seasons into my classroom. How am I going to do it? Do we in Malaysia have 4 seasons? No, right? We do not have winter, we do not have, yes, summer maybe is hot all years long, and then we don't have the spring, and we don't have this autumn season. But how am I going to bring it into my classroom, English lessons? I use this app called AR. Artificial Intelligence AR apps and some assembler apps. I install it and then I bring it to the classroom and the students can experience knowing from the sky. And also, they are so excited about this knowing, and then they have the strong wind blow inside the classroom. All this is metaverse. They're so immersed in the learning environment, and therefore, what is not in Malaysia, we can bring it into the classroom. And the second unit is about dinosaur. Dinosaur is no longer in the world. If I want to teach dinosaur, if I just use a video itself, it's not enough. I want my students to have a battle, have a fight with the dinosaur. Is it possible? Yes. I bring in AR apps again. So they can have a fight with them. They can actually really see, visualize what is in the video. They and the dinosaurs. So when we have this kind of immersive learning environment, I'm sure that students enjoy this environment so much. They have fun, engaging, motivating. So this is the part that we want our students to learn. Therefore, we said impact of the students is very important. We have to be creative in design our lesson plan so that the students can engage more. Sometimes it's not the students' problem. It's not that they don't want to engage in the lessons, but they feel that, oh, these teachers, just give me watch a video, just read from the book. It's not enough, so we bring them out of the box to the world using the technology. And then we talk about technology. It's not only for learning as well. We have this database. When we talk about big data, we want to analyze students' impact. We have these applications called quizzes, paper mode. Even the students without the device, they can have this paper on flying in the air. This is called flying assessment. They have done the innovations and won so many awards because it is significantly make an impact in the classroom. So therefore, we analyze using the big data how the students need to improve on which part, and we go deep down, and then we analyze and we give remedial activities for the students. This is so important to know your students' strengths and weaknesses. Therefore, feedback given immediately, right, because of the technology. And then we talk about data, we have this environment, and we have this teachers create assessment and evaluation. We talk about classroom-based assessment, PBD, pendeksan bilik belajar in the classroom. Therefore, we use the apps to make ease for all the educators to use the technology to create assessments and do evaluation in the classroom. That is well enough. Just using one click, you can create all types of questions, cater for all the needs of the students with CEFR level from A1 to C2. Maybe for primary school, we do not reach to C2, maybe B1, B2. Secondary school, B1 to C1, like that. For university level, we have C2 maybe. So this type of apps, AI, make it easier for all the educators and the students to learn. This is how this technology bring impact in our English lessons for all the educators, for teachers, for students, and for parents as well. For the community, you can get, parents, you can get access of the assessment and exercises from the application. Therefore, you can help your children to learn English using technology as well. Because the question bank is already for you. You just need to click and ask them to do. And it is much more easier using technology compared to the old traditional assessment methods. Thank you, Asma.
Thank you, Rishi. That is technology. Kawan-kawan perempuan, don't worry, jangan bimbang. Kerana bahasa Inggeris ialah sebuah bahasa yang boleh dipelajari dengan mudah sekarang. Because kita ada teknologi yang canggih. So don't worry, ibu bapa juga jangan bimbang kata bahasa Inggeris itu susah. It's not difficult. Technology is here. Technology is going to stay here. Technology is going to be with us for the rest of our lives. Dan juga teknologi merupakan punca segala kejayaan dalam pendidikan bahasa Inggeris. So thank you, Mishi. Now, kita tahu penggunaan bahasa Inggeris. Kita tahu pengajaran bahasa Inggeris di sekolah. Kita tahu teknologi. Bagaimana tentang pendidikan guru. Bagaimana guru-guru Malaysia. The teachers in Malaysia, how are they trained and being elevated to the level to be the best English teachers in the country. So with that, I'd like to invite Ms. Nur Hesrin Anwar to share with us English language education from the teacher training perspective. Silakan.
So of course, all of us at the Institute of Teacher Education or IPE, we believe that internationalization of the English language education is paramount, and this is evident with this new curriculum that we have implemented. So in 2022, we implemented new curriculum of teacher trainees, whereby we included an area of courses, not only restricted to courses to improve their English language proficiency, but we also look at other courses that are considered to be suitable for 21st century educators. In addition, elements of cultural awareness and diversity are also integrated in this new curriculum in order to prepare our teacher trainees, Guru Pelatih, to be more equipped to teach English in a multicultural and multilingual settings. And one important aspect when it comes to this new curriculum that I would like to highlight is the introduction, the integration of technology courses in the ITE or IPG curriculum. So previously, yes, we have one or two courses that focuses on innovation and also technology. But now we have added more. We even have this one course, which I did with my students recently, last semester. It's called Technology for Language Learning Assessment. So it's really interesting. We train our English language teachers, and these teachers, they are going to teach in primary schools. We train them how to evaluate, how to assess their students using technology tools. So this is what we want. We want to prepare our teachers. Not only they can teach English language, but they can also, use all this. They can leverage on technological tools and innovation in their classroom, right? So what we do with our students, we give them hands-on training on how to navigate online learning, how to develop online materials, and also how to design and implement online-based assessment. But of course, we have this discussion. We are aware that in Malaysia itself, there are many challenges when it comes to technology implementation in the classroom. So these students, they are aware that they will think of what are the other alternatives that they can use in the classroom to make it more interesting, right? So, my notes. So what we want to achieve is we want to produce this new generation of teachers who are able to navigate through the complexities of our educational landscape, and are able to meet the needs of their students who come from various backgrounds, be it cultural or even language, right? So this is what we aim to achieve from our IPG curriculum. Okay, thank you, Dr. Aslam.
Thank you, Ms. Hesrin. Itu dari perspektif pendidikan guru di kampus-kampus di seluruh Malaysia. So, in teacher education, everything is based on the current development. So, the teachers which are trained in the IPG campuses are teachers who belong to the 21st century English language education. So, we have teacher training. Now, we can't just look at these aspects. We need to move to the next level. The next level is collaboration. Kita mesti ada kolaborasi dalam negara, luar negara, di mana bahasa Inggeris menjadi tajuk perbincangan, tajuk penggunaan di semua aspek. So with that, I like to invite Ms. Tanvirko Sikon, who is an educator, BU educator, to share with us how collaboration is done. Why is it so crucial? Stanbir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Aslam. So when we are talking about English language for internationalization, we have to talk about fostering global connections to do justice to the topic at hand today. Sorry. So in its purest sense, academic mobility and collaboration would mean movement of students and educators across international borders, creating partnerships for mutual benefit. So I was quite fortunate to organize cultural exchange programs twice, where I brought my students to Japan twice. And upon returning, my students and I were able to conduct campaigns. We organized a campaign where my students launched the campaign, they designed posters, and they even conducted surveys, meaning they used English for a real purpose. And so by providing students this platform to use English language meaningfully and purposefully, research says that it really enhances students' language acquisition. And also it increases students' motivation. This meaningful project not only improved their language acquisition, but it also gave students a sense of accomplishment and a sense of being part of the world, sense of being part of the world and global citizenship. Such physical cultural exchange trips can be a costly affair, as we all know, so therefore sometimes we have to look into other ways of creating mutual collaborations, for example, virtual collaborations or virtual exchange programs, or even like academic virtual collaborations. An example of a collaboration that I did with recently is with Singapore Management University's Center for English Communication, whereby they generously offered me to use their gamified grammar language application, which they have developed themselves. This app was a perfect fit for my pre-university students, as it catered to their language needs, it was pitched at their level, and it was preparing them for future career language needs. Now this collaboration proved to be a win-win situation for all involved. For Singapore Management University, I collected my students' feedback and analyzed and shared with them so they could use this feedback to further improve the application. For my students, it helped them to improve their knowledge about grammar use and grammar usage. As for me, as a language teacher, I was able to use this feedback to further improve my instruction in the classroom. So, numerous studies demonstrate a clear link between professional collaboration and teacher development, which in turn leads to improved teaching quality and student outcomes. By embracing collaborations and fostering a collaborative spirit, we can create help create English language practitioners who can become leaders in their own settings. Which brings me to my second point, that through collaborations, we can empower educators. Creating English language leaders in all institutions gives validation to English language teachers. This aligns with Bandura's self-efficacy theory, which states that the higher an individuals believe in their own ability to succeed, they will be able to experience higher self-efficacy. They will have greater motivation and also a positive outlook to try new things. So Bandura's theory of self-efficacy deeply resonates with me, and I believe it holds true for all educators. Sharing success stories and innovative teaching methods with colleagues fosters a sense of collective achievement and fuels the teacher's confidence. For example, when I first started using AI tools, when they first introduced, such as Scribble Literature, I started experimenting with ChatGPT, with Quillbot AI, and with Reading Progress. It sparked my curiosity to try and experiment it with my students. Witnessing the positive impact on my students' my students achieve a students' language proficiency. It was helping them, and plus being invited to share my experiences on platforms such as That Asia Roadshow. This further ignited my passion to leverage technology in my classroom. This again resonates with research that consistently shows that when the teacher experiences higher sense of self-efficacy, fostered by collaboration, it correlates with the teacher's ability to keep trying on new teaching methods in the classroom, as well as this will ultimately benefit the student outcome. Another collaborator in the ESL classroom to achieve English for internationalization would be AI. Yeah, we are talking a lot about, I think all of us are touching about technology. So technology, specifically AI, it can be a powerful collaborator for the English language teacher in the classroom, transforming how English language instruction is carried out. However, when we use AI, we have to be careful, yeah? Because we have to integrate AI responsibly and effectively. While incorporating technologies such as AI tools is crucial, the success of using AI tools to reach this English language internationalization hinges a lot on the educator's expertise. Teachers must not only adopt this new technology and adopt using AI tools, but they must use them effectively. This means understanding the strengths as well as the potential risks of using AI in the classroom, because when we overuse AI, we run into the trouble of losing students. Students might lose their ability to think critically in the classroom. Overuse might also impede their language learning skills instead of helping them. So teachers must be very skillful to integrate it meaningfully. They must know where and when to use it and for what purpose. Okay, and this calls for training of teachers in this area in order to reach English for internationalization. Okay, and using technology in the classroom, we must also train the teachers adequately. The need for teacher expertise is further emphasized by a recent research in a British Council report called The Future of English, that found over half of the roundtables conducted in 49 countries expressed concern that teachers were unprepared for future learning systems. So again, this is highlighting for training of teachers to integrating technology effectively. This concern is again echoed in another report by the British Council, which is called AI and ELT Training Report, where 53% of the 1,300 teachers who took part in the survey revealed that they are using AI tools in the classroom. Okay, but they also reported feeling they're not confident, feeling inadequately trained to use these AI tools. So this raises a significant concern. Okay, without proper training, teachers might be using AI ineffectively. So then we again run into the problem of overusing it, and our students might hinder our students' critical thinking skills, which is quite dangerous when there's overuse. All right. So, for example, when I use a speaking app called Small Talk to Me in the classroom, it is a powerful tool to teach speaking skills. However, it has its limitations. As a teacher, and now I realize that, after experimenting with so many AI tools, you somehow will realize that it has its limitations. Because though it can help students to improve their speaking skills, but that does not mean I put aside a real interaction. I cannot just use all kinds of tools and forget about having real-time interaction. So it has to be a balance between interactions with AI tools and also real-life interactions. Therefore, what I'm trying to say is, in order to reach English internationalization and using and adopting and integrating technology in the classroom, we have to have adequate training for teachers. Otherwise, we're going to run into a problem where some teachers are overusing it, some teachers are not using it at all. It becomes a problem because how do we get all the students to have a feel of being a global citizen in the world if they have no exposure to using technology? I think that's all will be from me. And before I end, I would like to say that in order to reach internationalization, we have to work and we have to collaborate with one another in order to achieve our aims. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanvir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the classroom practices. What about from the industries? Kadang-kadang kita memerlukan sokongan, bantuan daripada pihak corporate untuk membantu meningkatkan bahasa Inggeris dalam negara. So hari ini kita ada bersama kita, Pengerusi Dewan Industri Buku Malaysia dan juga producer untuk One Call ini. So kita dengar. Let's listen to Mr. Keith talk about resources and latest development in materials development so that he can bring the world to Malaysia, to our classroom. So over to you, Mr. Keith Rock.
Thank you, Dr. Aslam. You know, I'm your fan, right? I listen to a lot of talk and a lot of presentation. And one of the main things I learned from you is that contextualization, right? It must be applicable in when we contextualize. You see, Cikgu especially, we have a lot of tools, an arsenal of tools. Macam-macam boleh, whether media in the most traditional format, AI, digital, we have it in our bag. But to which audience that we're going to apply to? Like this morning, right, I listened to Cikgu really talk about newspaper and education. Wow, dia sungguh hebat. With just paper alone, right, they can do so many events and so many things. The whole hall rock like a rock concert because Cikgu just use newspaper to conduct the class. But that is the kehandalan, the expertise of the Cikgu to apply. But then again, like say at this present moment, AI is definitely much talked about, collaboration among people and stuff like that. Now this morning I was listening to Alistair talk about his AI program in reading. Now they actually deploy a lot of AI, like say you have 2,000, 3,000 books that you can read. But sometimes, right, I may want a book that is very personalized to me. And I tell the AI, I want to be the hero in the book. I'm standard 3. I want to tell the story at the level of standard 3. I want the voice talent. I can choose from 30 types of voice talent, but I miss my grandpa's voice. It's not here anymore. I choose a senior gentleman to be telling the story. All right, and I like to have a kind of a graphics that is futuristic. And I just tell the AI, okay, now this is my terms and condition, write the story for me. And AI within a short moment will produce the story that's so personalized to you that you find meaningful on whatever you're going to do because you are very involved, you play a role in the AI role. Alright? So that is really, really awesome. Now the other thing that we talk about is that sometimes, right, especially certain teacher profession, English teachers, every time short of English teachers, we don't have enough English teachers. So what do? We actually use AI to do some of the work. Like say for example, we have this program called English Central for English for Employability, right? So the students will watch the video. After you watch the video, cikgu tak ada, macam mana I want to ask something to the cikgu. But the board will actually come out. The board will answer your question of whatever you learned on the video. Sometimes you're a bit naughty, we go and press the board. You cantik ke? You are boy or girl? Can I ask you out for a date? The boss say, stick back to your question and learn, study the video that we talk about. I'm a machine, I'm genderless, no boy, no girl. Go back to your class. You know, they play like a little Chingu role to have fun with this kind of thing. So it helps a lot. And when it comes to assessment, right? Now, English normally you have the 4 skills, right? Listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Now, many times when it comes to writing and speaking, we use a real person to do the marking. All right? That is, we call the warm body, the person. All right? But now, right, what we did is that we actually feed the machine with 10 years of speaking script and how the teacher grade, as well as the writing scripts of how the teacher grade. And AI now actually become the examiner even for the speaking and writing element. So we are living in exciting times. It's really, really cool. And we are not alone. Like say, for example, we have publishers who are joining us today. We have foundation founders, like the Malaysian First Foundation founders, Mr. Koh and May there. They are constantly supporting because we have a good structure, but sometimes we need a bigger superstructure to collaborate with us. Many a times we go to the classroom, student collaborate, collaborate. But people are now not collaborating. So it's time that we actually play a role and serve the community together. Thank you, Dr. Aslam.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Kit Tong. Mr. Kit Tong is one of the most humble, yet very supportive person in bringing resources to the classroom. Tuan-tuan dan puan, Encik Kit ni sentiasa membantu dari segi bahan-bahan. Kalau memerlukan bahan-bahan, sila jumpa Encik Kit lepas ini. Thank you, Kit. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, ladies and gentlemen, time is always running after us. So we have questions. Kita ada soalan. Quick one. Just 1 minute for this question. Okay, Dr. Chiu, do you think so? Do you think so English is going to remain for a long time, therefore we need to be good in English? Any perspektif pendidik daripada Universiti Malaya? Okay.
Okay, alright. Dr. Aslam is giving me pressure, I better give a good answer.
1 minute.
Alright, according to, like Ms. Kambir has mentioned, in British Council's report on the future of English, they cited World Economic Forum's index on the powerful languages. So they measured on geography, economy, knowledge and media, communication, and diplomacy. So they find that English language will be the top for all these 5 categories. But in 2050, I don't know how they come up with this magical number, but they predicted that in 2050, Mandarin might be the first in terms of communication, but English will still remain the top for the other 4 categories. Yeah, so it is really worthy to learn English language.
Thank you. So bahasa Inggeris tetap ada bersama kita. Kita harus mempertingkatkan bahasa Inggeris kita. Tapi jangan lupa bahasa Melayu. Kita anak Malaysia, bahasa Melayu nombor 1 mesti ada. Bahasa Inggeris bahasa kedua mesti ada juga. Macam saya, semua bahasa boleh. Pergi England belajar, dia kata, where are you from? I'm from Malaysia. Wow, you speak good English? Mestilah anak Malaysia mesti boleh cakap bahasa Inggeris yang boleh disegani oleh bangsa lain di dunia. Yes, Malaysia tetap boleh. Okay, now one more question for you, Shi. Now you talk about technology. Alright, bercakap tentang teknologi. Adakah teknologi akan menghalang seorang guru dan menggantikan seorang guru? And technology replace an English teacher. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aslam. Tremendous questions. I would like to say that I'm afraid of being replaced by technology. Therefore, I go at one steps to learn technologies. I learned a lot of things, applications, new trend, AI trends, so that I will not be replaced by technology. Why? Because one day, if we do not use technology in the classroom, we do not follow the trend, you might be replaced by others who are using it. Obviously, we can see that there are so many technology mixed impacts in the classroom, right? However, if you do not use it, therefore, someone else is using it. That is comparable. So you are not able to do that well, therefore you will be replaced. However, in the hands of good educator or great educators, they are going at one step. They are not stopped at there. They will go more. Go out of their comfort zone, they will learn more. Take the extra miles to create something that is interesting for the students using technology. Therefore, in the hands of great educators, technology is transformational. Lesson plan is transformational. So therefore, don't let technology to replace us. But we work with technology, work well with technology, and then we have a win-win situation where technology and educators are able to create our future generation that is very creative and also innovative.
Thank you. Cannot replace English teachers, but English teachers with technology will replace English teachers without technology. So technology harus ada. Yeah? Okay, third question. So Miss Hezrin, ini dari pendidikan guru. Teacher education. Do you think that the current teachers that we have in the country, English teachers, are really there for all our learners to bring them to the highest level of English language? That's a good one.
Yes, absolutely, Dr. Aslam. With the training that we're giving to our teachers, not only in IPG but also in universities as well, I believe that we are giving them the knowledge and skills and also the opportunity to connect and collaborate with others. So therefore, our students now, I think they are very well prepared, they are equipped, and they're also of the highest standard as well. Because these students, I'm just going to give one example of my students in IPG. Like those days, I remember the assignments would be okay, written assignment, oral presentation, that's it. But now you even get them to create a webinar whereby these students, they have to go outside, they have to find an expert of a particular field, and they have to organize a webinar. That is something that is not easy. So I think this teacher later, when they go to school, they will help others in school in terms of professional development. They will train these teachers, on certain skills like technology and even networking. So yes, I think we're doing good right now when it comes to our IPG curriculum.
Yeah. So IPG dan Universiti di Malaysia bertungkus-lumus menyediakan guru-guru yang terbaik untuk anak-anak kita. Satu contoh ini dulu ialah pelajar saya di kampus pendidikan guru. Hari ini duduk sebelah pensyarah dia. So ini buktinya. Jadi IPG melahirkan guru-guru yang memang bertauliah, memang bagus untuk mengajar anak-anak kita di sekolah supaya tahap bahasa Inggeris akan sampai tahap yang disegani di pelosok dunia sana. Okay. Mengajar bahasa Inggeris, to teach English is not easy. Kita ada tempat dia di bandar dan luar bandar. Miss Natasha ni daripada Sarawak mengajar di sana. So what do you think are some of the major challenges, or maybe one of the major challenges, cabaran yang paling hebat sekali pada you semasa mengajar di sekolah pendalaman?
Okay, that would be the widening gap of technology. So the digital divide is actually, we can see it very clearly among the city students and also the rural students. Because during my teaching years in primary rural schools, the students from the city, they know about AI, but my students, they only know about YouTube. But not all of them have access to YouTube. So that's where I realized that as an educator, we have to be very creative. We have to plan how do we cater this digital divide, plan and get it done. And please make full use of whatever facilities, like materials that are being provided by our Ministry of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Harapan masih ada, walaupun di bandar, walaupun di kawasan pedalaman, mengajar, tetap mengajar dengan terbaik, karena segala bantuan dari kerajaan, daripada pihak swasta macam Tuan Kifli, daripada ibu bapa, parents, daripada semua guru yang betul-betul passionate, mengorbankan masa untuk meningkatkan tahap bahasa Inggeris di kalangan anak-anak di kawasan pendalaman. Harapannya ada, kita sama-sama bekerjasama. Okay, last question. Miss Tanvirko, you talk about collaboration, internationalization of English language, need collaboration. Just give me 1 minute. How to make it very effective, local and international?
Well, locally we could always partner with the private sector in Malaysia. We can connect with other schools, the neighboring schools within the neighborhood. For example, when I was teaching in a secondary school, I collaborated a lot with Rotary Club, whereby we raise funds, we got students to raise funds for various reasons, and we invited all these bodies, these organizations into a school. For example, I remember one year we collaborated with the Malaysian Society for the Blind, and invited the organization to come to school and give a talk in English language, of course, about how what it's like to be blind, what's a daily life of a blind person like. And when students get this kind of exposure from different organizations, from the world outside, and this is what students usually hunger for. Yeah? They have this hunger for knowing what's outside the classroom. Because just being in the classroom surrounded by four walls can be quite boring. So they need to be connected with the world outside. So engaging with other institutions or organizations like Rotary Club and NGOs, and inviting them to schools to give a talk will really help students to see the importance of learning the language, because in all these private institutions, organizations, usually they use English language. So they'll be further motivated to use English language. And I've said earlier as well, we can have virtual collaborations like the one I had with Singapore Management University. You can look out for universities or even neighboring schools that have probably innovative teaching methods. Collaborate with them, have hybrid learning classes with them, so as to increase the motivation of students. And also teachers, we need motivation. We need to connect with the world outside as well to make progress in our teacher development. Otherwise, it can be quite dull in the day.
Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, akhir kata, English for internationalization is a must. It's a must. Kita harus menyokong segala usaha-usaha kerajaan, pihak swasta untuk meningkatkan tahap bahasa Inggeris di kalangan anak-anak kita semua, supaya kita kagum dengan anak-anak kita menjadi anak-anak yang luar biasa, yang boleh dihormati di seluruh dunia. Anak Malaysia, we are good in English, we will rule the world. So with that, thank you very much to all my speakers. Sama-sama majukan bahasa Inggeris, majukan negara ke tahap yang disegani di dunia. Terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Okay, a round of applause to Dr. Aslam and the panel. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Bye-bye.